Hello everybody, it's Anne from Stampin'Up. Welcome to another card making day here in Simcoe, Ontario, where we're all a little bit healthier this week, thank goodness. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Simcoe, and if you don't have your own demonstrator and you live in Canada, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsNTea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsNTea.stampinup.net. So today we're going to use the Reindeer Days or Reindeer Fun suite of products. I think this, if you buy the whole suite, it's called Reindeer Days. If you buy the stamps and dies, it's called Reindeer Fun, but it's all part of the same collection. It's on page 27 in the September to December mini catalogue, and I'll turn the camera down and I'll show you what we're going to use. So this is the page in the mini catalogue, page 27. This is everything you get in the suite. You get the stamps, the dies, the DSP, beautiful DSP, gorgeous colours of DSP. You get a lovely embossing folder which is called Forever Plaid. You get some nice, what are they called? They're called red and white adhesive backed peppermints is what they're called. You've got red and white twine. You actually get some little gift boxes too. They look a bit like a book, and you can make them into treat boxes. So that's everything. The whole suite is $140.50, which is an amazing deal really. And today we are going to use some DSP, the stamps and the dies. So let me put the catalogue down. So this is the stamp set here. Got lovely sentiments in, some deer, some trees, little embellishments for the deer, and some bells and some lovely sayings. We're also going to use the embossing folder that came with the suite. It's called Forever Plaid, so we're going to use that. And we're going to use the Countryside Corners dies. We're just going to use a couple of dies out of here to make the card. So what do we have? Oh, so let me show you the DSP. The DSP is beautiful. So this is one sheet. This is the sheet we are going to use today. We're going to cut out this deer here, and we're going to use the back of the paper as well, which is lovely. And all the other pages are you know, deer and parcels and trees and lights. That's a beautiful sort of vintage page there. You've got stripes on the back, you've got deer, you've got a little bit of everything. That's a really fun page there, and that has the lovely holly on the back. Nice deer, more deer, more deer, and you've got a couple of snowmen. Well, it's really a deer, I guess a snow deer you would call it. And it's got bells on the back, so it's a really nice sheet of paper. Nice package of paper, I should say. And before I forget, if you watch my video, if you would like to subscribe to my channel is StampsNTea on YouTube. And if you just watch it and you don't want to subscribe, if you could leave a comment or a like, that would help my statistics on YouTube. Thank you. So let's get on to making this card. What have we got for supplies? Well, we've got this sheet of DSP that we're going to cut up. I've already cut out this little piece here with a couple of deer on, and we're going to use that. We've got a strip of the paper, which is the other side of this paper. That strip of paper is, let me think, 5 1/4 by 1 3/8. We've got your standard 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and this is garden green, and we're going to score that. We've got a 5 by 6 piece of garden green for hexagons. We've got a basic white which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and we've got a basic white 5 1/4 by 3 1/2 for the inside of the card. You've got your envelope. So let's get started. Let's bring in the scoring board, and we will score the basic card. Okay, we're going to score this at 4 1/4. This is along the long edge, 4 1/4. That's my scoring board. I need to open that out. So we've scored at 4 1/4, 5 7/8, 6 3/8. 1, 2, 3 and 8 inches. So that was scored at 4 1/4, 5 7/8, 6 3/8 and 8 inches. And let me just set this on the floor. I'll keep it handy in case I need it. Alright, so we're going to take this card and we're going to fold on the score line. So we're going to turn it this way and we're just going to fold everything to the inside. Just like that, and like that, and like that. Now one thing I am going to do, this very outside 1/2 inch panel, I'm just going to trim the width of my channel on my scoreboard, on my cutting and scoring board. I'm going to trim about the width of the channel off there. Really it's just a sliver, but it's going to help when we fold the card together. That's all I cut off. Let me show you, laying it down. That's it. It's a tiny little sliver, just about the width of your channel. Okay, so now let's see what we've got. We need some hexagons. We're going to cut all the pieces out and then we'll put the card together. So from the 6 by, what was it, 6 by 5, 5 by 6 piece of garden green, we're going to take hexagon number 2 from the top, counting from the outside in, number 2, like that, and number 3. We're going to cut those 2 out. Then from the piece of white that is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, I think it is, we're going to cut out this one. Wait a minute, you can't see. So from the garden green we're going to cut out hexagon number 2 and hexagon number 3. These two. Just like that. So we've got number 2 and number 3 hexagons. So we're going to put number 2 die away. That's the bigger one. From the set we're going to take number 4 die, and from the white 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 we're going to cut number, let me think, 3 die and number 4 die. Okay, we're going to cut those like that. So that's going to lay on there like that, and that's going to lay on there like that. So you see we've got die number 2 and 3, and then we've got 3 and 4. That's how we cut them out. Get rid of that. Okay, so we can get rid of that scrap. Now what we're going to need to do, this little reindeer here, he's just lovely, but he's quite flimsy. Okay, and I want to cut him out to put on the front of my card, so I'm going to glue that to a scrap of basic white, okay, before I cut it out. I should have glued him first and then he could have been dry, but I think it'll be okay. I think he'll dry quite quickly. Just going to spread glue all over there, make sure I've got them all covered. And that's just to give him more stability when I put it on the front of the card. So I'm just going to glue that down just anyway, making sure it's pressed down firmly all the way around the deer, because we're going to use a die from the Reindeer Fun set to cut that piece out. Let me just cut that off. And really, by the time I'm talking, that glue's done enough to have a good hold. So let me take the die from the set that we're going to use. I've got lots of lovely dies in this set. Now I've made a note in my folder here that I've got 2 sheets of dies because there were so many dies in this sheet. I had to put 2 magnetic sheets in here. So we're going to take this die, and it cuts it out just beautifully. But you see, once you get it cut out, it's just paper, so it wouldn't hold up very well. So I'm going to find some tape here and tape that die down because I don't want it to move. Let me see. I want it lined up nicely. Can you see that? Yes. Whoops. Maybe I'll put them down on the table flat so the die will go down flat because my board is a little bit warped, you know, from use. I think that should be all right. No, moved them again. Dear Anne. Just taping him down so he doesn't move. Right, so we're going to take that to the big shot and cut that out, but at the same time we are going to use this lovely 3D embossing folder called Forever Plaid, and we're going to emboss the smaller piece of basic white, which was 5 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I'm just going to put that in the embossing folder, line it up nice and straight on one of the lines in the embossing folder. Let me see, I just moved that. Let's have a look. Let's go about there. Looks pretty straight. Yep, that looks good. So I'm going to run that through the embossing, the cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to cut this piece out. I'll be right back. All right, so let's see what we've got. Hopefully we've got a nice deer cut out of using the die. If I can get him popped out. There it goes. There. So that cut out nice, and it's really quite strong now because we backed it on the basic white cardstock. So let me get that die off there before I lose it. And back in the case it goes. And then let's look at the embossing folder. Look at that beautiful embossing. Isn't that lovely? You can see that with it. Usually when you emboss, you know, you have to turn it towards the light and just get the angles to pick up. That just embossed beautifully. It's a gorgeous folder. Gorgeous. So then let's carry on and see what we need to do. Let's put this card together. We've got to do a little bit of stamping on here. We're going to stamp. This is for the inside of the card. Oops, watch I don't lose my little deer. So on the inside of the card we've got a stamp that says Christmas is better together. Now it's going on the inside of the card, and it's from the reindeer set, and it just fits right across the width of this card. Okay, and we're going to stamp that in real red. There. Christmas is better together. Oh, that's lovely, lovely. There. And then I've got a stamp that's going to go on here. Then I've got another stamp from the same set, and it says Merry Christmas. Now, this deer is going to go on the white part of this card like this. And I want to say Merry Christmas, but the stamp is too big. You see, it's all one stamp. So I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to cover the Christmas and stamp Merry up here, and then put the Christmas at the bottom if I can. So I've got a post-it note here, and I'm just going to cover up the Christmas part of the stamp. I'm going to wrap this post-it note around my block so that I know that I'm just getting the Merry stamped and I've got something to hold on to. And I'm going to make sure there's no ink there, and I'm going to stamp Merry at the top. So let's clean off the Merry part of the stamp, trade the post-it note and cover up the Merry so that we only have the Christmas showing. Make sure that stamp's all inked up nicely. Merry, we're going to put it on a slight angle. Christmas, perfect. So that's a good way to use a stamp that is too big. You know, if you want to use it, I mean, I could not have got Merry Christmas right across the front of that card, so it's a good way to cover one word up, and it works best when you've got a space in between your words, you know, and you've got lots of room. Sometimes your words are really close together and you can hardly separate them, is what I'm saying. You can hardly separate them. So then let's put that to one side and let's put this card together. So we'll get rid of the post-it note. This card, we're going to take this piece that we scored. Okay, we scored 4 1/4, 5 7/8, 6 3/8 and 8 inches, and we trimmed a sliver from the 8-inch edge. Okay, we're going to turn this over, and we're going to use two-sided tape just because it's strongest. Oh, and I don't have a roller tape. I do. I got some narrow tape. We'll use that twice. That's okay. And I'm just going to put this strip of tape right down the edge of this card. Making sure I've got the whole card covered. Got no scissors handy. Oop. Here's an old pair of scissors. Trim that off. And I'm going to put 2 strips on it because this tape is narrow. If I had my 1/2-inch roll of tape on the table where I could see it, I'd be okay. But of course I don't. There. Take the cover off the tape. That's one piece. There's 2 pieces, and make sure I've got no tape sticking out over the edge, so I'm just going to fold that little piece back. And I can see I've got none there, but I'm just going to roll it. Now I'm going to turn the card over. I'm going to fold it on the first fold. Okay, like this is where my adhesive is, so there's a fold there. I'm going to fold it on the next fold, and then all I'm going to do is bring the big piece of the card over and press it down. Give it a good press so that it gets a good hold, because you don't want that piece to fall apart. Okay, now this card, when it's like this, is going to go in a standard envelope, but you also want to make sure it will roll back and stand up nicely so that it stands up like this. Whoops. Like that. Okay, so now we're going to put the rest of the card together. We've got this piece to go on the inside, right down all 4 sides, because you really want to hold this piece in place. And you always need extra glue when you've got an embossed piece that you're putting down, because you know when it embossed, there's high pieces and low pieces, so sometimes the glue catches and sometimes it doesn't. This piece is going to go right in here like this. And you should have about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Oops. And you have to give it a bit of a good press. You don't want to press the embossing out, but you want to make sure that any piece of adhesive that you've got on the back is going to hold onto something else. There. Okay, we've got this piece of DSP, which was 5 1/4 long by 1 3/8 wide. It's going to go on this panel on the front like that. Now it's going to be mostly hidden, so decide what you want to see. Do you want to see just the nice bright red strip down the side, or if you turn it upside down you get the green strip? I'm going for the bright red. So again, adhesive all the way top and bottom. And I want to see the bright red on the outside, so it's going to go right about there. That's my card sort of made. Now I've got these pieces and I've got the Mary, and it's going to go on there like that. Now I'm going to put this piece down first, the white piece down, before I put the deer on, so that I can center the deer, because it will overlap the white, so I'll center the deer onto the green. So this is the largest white on the largest green hexagon. Yep, and then the smallest white on the smaller green hexagon. That looks pretty good. Just give it a press. I'll give this one a press. Right. So this piece is going on the inside of the card, and it's going to go right in the center of the inside of the card, just like that. Okay. Now because we're gluing it down onto the embossed piece, we're going to put extra glue on this piece. You want to make sure it's glued down all the way. And it's going to sit right in the center. So we're going to peel that back a little bit if we can. Maybe line this up on a square or two. I think it will do. Yep, that looks great. Right there. Make sure we got no glue sticking. So now we've got the big hexagon, or the larger of the hexagons. It's going to glue right down this little channel, this 1/2 inch here. Just the only glue that's holding this is going to be down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie this down flat. Maybe can I do it that way? No, I have to do it this way. Lie it down flat, set my hexagon next to this piece so that I can make sure I've got my smaller hexagon covered. You see the ends of the large hexagon are sticking out over here, and I need to put a strip of adhesive just right down here to hold the large hexagon. Okay. Wouldn't you know it, out of glue again. Okay, now you don't want any glue to come over your fold, so just be careful. Okay, you're then going to turn your hexagon over, and you are going to put a strip right down. You're just going to eyeball it, or you can line this up on the squares on your paper, your mat, whatever you're using, but you're going to put a strip right down the center of the hexagon, top to bottom. Right, like that. So you've got glue on your strip, you've got glue on your hexagon, And you're going to close your card, lie it down, because you want to make sure that this hexagon fully covers. Line your glue up if you can. Make sure your second hexagon is completely covered. So then we've got the deer to stick on the front, and he's just going to stick on there like that. And the reason I'm doing him last is because I want to center him, and I didn't want him to stick over the outsides of the green. Your deer you could even set up on dimensionals if you wanted to. Let's see what we've got. Baby needs one. There we go. Let me see, I'm going to hold it at the top so that I know I've got the tail of both of the deers on here. There. I'm just going to finish it off with a couple of the peppermint adhesive backed gems. These are part of the set. There's 3 sizes, large, medium and small. And I'm just going to pick up a couple. Just get the glue off there. One there. One there. And one there, and that just fills in a little bit of empty space with just a few gems. So it's one messy desk this morning, but there's a lovely card. So there it is, that's today's card. It opens and stands up like this so that you can see the inside as well, and it stands because it's folded into a box shape there. Lift it up, you can see. There it is. So that's it, everybody. Thanks once again for watching and bearing with me through my videos. I do appreciate it, and I love all the support I get on YouTube from you all. Thank you very much. This is my own design. If you want to copy and share it, please do so. If you sell your cards, just put the Stampin' Up angel stamp on the back, which just says all the supplies used are Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks again for watching, everybody. See you next week. Bye bye.